Field Survey Notes, the Royal Spy. Was steht hier so viel? Alter! The Royal Spy. This is the 4th day, month of high cold. Progress continues on the suppression of gang activities in Distillery District, but more slowly than I had expected. The ruffians operating there have been cunning, I'll grant them that, but it's only a matter of time. I'll see the leaders flogged in public and sent beneath the royal executioner's blade. If I had my way, that mute bastard would be working night and day, removing the heads that need removing. Internally, the Empress does not seem pleased with my investigations. It seems that... Ist das der Spy Master, ne? Ah ja, except from the personal memoirs of Hiram Barrows, dated several years earlier. Internally, the Empress does not seem pleased with my investigations. It seems that it is beyond her thinking, against her very nature as a trusting person, to believe that traitors move among us, but I know they do. They must. No. Jasmine would rather spend her time with the Royal Protector. At least he's likely to stop any immediate threat to her safety. But a strong arm is not what's needed against those who would undermine us. How will Corvus' sword stop a poisoned wine glass or an explosive delivered by a courier? It will not. There are many threats around us, threats requiring meticulous efforts to police. Young Lady Emily is undisciplined, I'm afraid. Here within Dunwall Tower she receives instruction from the finest tutors known in the Isles. Yet her mother spoils her and she spends most of her time lost in imagination, wasting her time drawing or asking Corvo to teach her to fight with a wooden stick. The girl might rule the Empire someday. Every moment spent at play is a moment wasted. Shoring up security for the main gate leading into Dunwall Tower has been another pet project of late. To think that back in his day, Emperor Caldwell left it open to the public during the day, allowing anyone to come and go as they pleased. If it were up to me, I'd seal off access to the streets entirely, but the Empress won't hear of it. The waterlock is much easier to protect, and if it were the only way into the tower, traffic in and out would be greatly reduced. Someday the wrong person is going to slip in, and we'll suffer for it. Mark my words. No amount of security is excessive when it comes to protecting heads of state. The Empress also disapproves of my plans for the Sokolov devices. Sokolov himself has no interest in security, of course. But he's vain, and therefore keen to see his inventions deployed in any fashion. This wall of light he's been tinkering with as promised. In any case, at least I was able to convince the Empress to upgrade the pistols carried by the officers of the watch. Why do I worry so, when no one else seems to care? If I ever fall asleep, will it all sink into the ocean? Will the rough things clamber over the walls and fill themselves on our flesh? This is what I see in the same dream several times each month. If only I had more say in things, more authority, I could protect us all. Perhaps I have been working too hard. Dinner and an evening of conversation with a certain lady of refinement might be in order. Perhaps somewhere nice in the estate district. Hiram Barrows, Royal Spy Master. Also hat er, kann ich dem entnehmen, also hat er die Empress töten lassen, weil er meint, sie ist nicht fähig, das zu tun, was nötig ist, um die Macht aufrechtzuerhalten? Noch mehr von den Dingern, Alter! Mystical Wolfhound Artifact, why? Was? I don't get it. Like, no fucking clue. 500 Münzen, was ist das? Das muss irgendein Bonus sein von irgendeiner Definitive Edition, ich hab keine Ahnung. Slackjaw, Early Life and Criminal Record. Das ist schon wieder so länger, wow! Ich glaube, ich mache eine Überlängenfolge hier aus. Jeez, okay. Except from a series of letters sent by a member of the Battle Street Gang. You wanted Shinwag on Slackjaw. What it was like when he was young, before he got his name. Oh, he's got a cool head now, but it weren't always like that in the days before he was boss of the Bottle Street Gang. That was, young Slackjaw wasn't such a reasonable man. Like most of us, he grew up in the streets, running with a pack of ragamuffins and avoiding the law pitching whatever he needed. Dark head and dark eyes, smoking a pipe at the age of 10. For them born into the brothels or coming from the orphanage, it was either the gangs or working with the mudlarks, and no one wants that. Some got pressed into the navy or put down in the mines, run by the Pendleton or Boyle families. Pendleton, das war der Name von dem anderen Typen. As hard as it was on the streets, as hungry as we all got, at least we was free. By the time we weren't little ones anymore, Slackjaw was one to watch, usually calling the shots when we took down the farmer's cart or sidewalk street vendor. He'd come up with a plan, gave everyone some part of play and decided on the split. Most of us just went along, cause we learned fast that we made out better like that. More food, more coin. Plus, none of us wanted to deal with Slackjaw when he was in a rage. He worked on a couple of big jobs with Black Sally across the town, and that was enough to get the attention of the other bosses. He wasn't just a street kid anymore. Now he was an up-and-comer, keine Ahnung, which meant trouble. Another guy who fancied himself as such was Mike the Fish, who was working his way up running the protection racket among the factory women. One fine evening, we all taken in a body shower in the theater house. Mike the Fish and his lot are there, and the cheap seats too, just down the aisle from us. Mike gets a wild idea. He wasn't big on planning, and throws a heavy ceremonial spittoon at Slackjaw. Hits him straight in the face and breaks his jaw. We look to see if there's gonna be a blood brawl, but Slackjaw just points at the door and we all leave, with Mike nodding at our backs. Waking up the next day without telling us why, Slackjaw motions for us all to follow. He still can't say a word, so we just come along. We stop at the docks and Slackjaw boys actually pays coin for it. A heavy chain covered in hooks. It's for fishing in the deep, something you'd attach to a long line off the side of a ship. It's about 4 feet, made of thick links, and there are shark hooks coming off it at different angles. Slackjaw's got that thing wrapped around his left arm, dangling at his side. Not sure how he knew where Mike the Fish was staying, but when we reached the girl's house, Slackjaw threw the bottle through the window just like that. It's almost noon. There's a bunch of screaming inside, and Mike pokes his head out, looking wide-eyed and baffled when he sees Slackjaw out in the streets. A look comes over his face and he still gives me the willies. Pure murder. Mike comes out the side door, bellowing like a blood ox, holding a cleaver, heading straight for Slackjaw. When they come together in the street, Slackjaw spins and the shark hooks bite deep into Mike's arm and shoulder. He screams, but Slackjaw holds onto the chain. He's standing there with his jaw broken, clenched tight, with the chain wrapped around his left arm, hook sunk into Mike the Fish, just knifing him as fast as he can. Mike couldn't fight very well, looked like that and using his left hand. But he was a big guy, and it took a lot of stabbing before he went to his knees. Everyone was cheering at first, but then we all went quiet. It just kept going and going, until finally it was like Mike the Fish blubbering, crying like a baby, and the sound of Slackjaw's knife. When it was over, and here's the brilliant part. Slackjaw took out a note and stuck to Mike's face with a nail. It just said, "If you want a job, come to Bottle Street." Slackjaw didn't talk right for a couple of months, but word spread fast. By the end of the year, once we had a sizable gang going, he sent out letters to all the other bosses, telling them that he was running a brand new crew over on Bottle Street. Most of them laughed and beat up the guys who delivered the letters. Green-eyed Trish even came back missing a thumb. But apparently Slackjaw was expecting that kind of reaction and had a backup plan. A week later, 4 of the bosses were dead. Seemed like a series of unfortunate events, but everyone knew better. One shot dead by the watch while standing in the middle of a meat market, another slipping and falling into the water, out cold. One of the older bosses found in the bed with his belly opened wide and the Tivian pear stuffed into his mouth. Still not sure what that meant. And Sheila Barnsworth was found bubbling in a cauldron of hot wax. Slugger sent out another set of letters, offers to the underbosses, telling them they'd be treated fair as peers. He even sent Green-Eyed Trish with one of the letters. All of the underbosses accepted. After spilling the guts of his main competition, Slugger went in for stabilizing his business, real neat-like. Calling in favors, smoothing things over, giving everyone a little bit of coin or drink as a bonus, showing what he could be like a boss. So everything got quiet, which always makes the boys of the city watch nervous, of course. Word went out among the world's spymaster snitches, the responsible citizens group they called themselves, telling everyone working in the shop was sweeping off the front steps of their homes to keep watchful eyes of Slugger and his men, trying to suss us out what they were up to and what just planned. But Slugger ain't stupid. He greased a few palms among the shopkeepers and the watch too, telling them that he was eine Güte, es wird ein wenig anstrengend. Telling them that he was in town to stay and that things would be run properly from now on, without so much blood. He was finally a real boss, ready to settle into the business of moving whiskey, running the hound fights, and offering up the ladies and gentlemen of the night, if you take my meaning. Then the plague came. At first it seemed like a good thing. A few people got sick and everyone wanted to buy those potions from Sokolov or Piero. Health elixir, spiritual remedy they call them. Slugger told me he saw an opportunity. We already had an old whiskey factory with a still where we could water the stuff down and sell it discounted. Doing the same with Sokolov's elixir was a smart plan. Pretty soon everybody in the slums was sick and business was good. But after a while, there were so many people down with the plague that everybody got scared. Everybody started acting real nasty and everything fell apart. When people can't work, they don't have the coil for elixir, watered down or pure. When the Empress died, it seemed like Dunwall would slide into the void. Spymaster Barrows took over and the watch started using all that new Sokolov technology. Watchtowers, tall boys, and them arc pylons. They put up a wall of light across Claving and Boulevard and cracked down hard. But Slugger surprised us again. Instead of leaving town on a boat bound for Morley, or one of the other isles, he stayed and kept it all together. We got as much elixir to fight off the plague as the city watch, with their taxes and rations, and it's kept us alive so far. Crowley, Battle Street Gang. Mein Gott! Okkultist, eine Errungenschaft für 10 verschiedene Mystical Whale Artifact. Ja, vermutlich für 10 verschiedene Teile. The Journal of Granny Rags. Okay. Bevor ich das lese, muss ich ganz kurz einmal mein Bein operieren. Ich glaube, ich habe mir heute im Laufe des Tages eine Splitter da reingejagt oder sowas. Es tut nämlich weh. Jetzt gucke ich mir mal ganz kurz an. Bin gleich wieder da. So, da bin ich auch schon wieder. Ich weiß nicht, was es war. Ich glaube, es war einfach nur ein kleiner Pickel, aber es hat beim Drankommen wehgetan, als hätte ich dann Splitter drin. Keine Ahnung. Okay, The Journal of Granny Rex. Except from the ramblings of a street denizen. Scheint eine alte zu sein. Of course I tell you, dearie. I won't keep any secrets from you in the end. All the dreary days of my life are like the windows of a house. From the kitchen, I could see out into the garden where the leaves and stalks are brown and bug-eaten. You can see a little lump of dirt where something was wrapped in a blanket and laid to rest along the rows of twisting vines. Das war die Oma. The front room looks out on the street, where the neighbors are all setting fire to their homes, barricading themselves inside, warm and snug, dearie. Don't forget about the bedroom either. It sees into a dreary alley, where hooligans are playing a game with an old man. The first two are hitting him with sticks, and the girl with them is kicking at his dry old ribs. Oh, to have those bones, to boil them in a pot. No one lives in my house anymore, dearie. No one you'd want to meet. When I lived there with my husband, we were fine, fine people. Very moray, everyone would say. Vera moray. Vera moray, everyone would say. Your house is as grand as Boyle Manor. Better, even. Your dinners are lavish, and your parties are the best. When that young Sokolov came to paint my portrait, I was nearly still in my prime. Radiant, he said. And he was just barely a man, so young, painting all the best people across the land. Everyone wanted it portrait by his hand, all my friends. I was the only one, dearie, wet with his paint, glistening on the canvas for a pretty coin. But it wasn't all parties and paintings. My husband and I weren't always at home, no. We travelled together, he and I, to the far ends of the Isles, beyond even, all the way to the red cliffs of Pendusia, to dig in the rock and crawl through the caves, holding up candles and squinting at the walls. Many precious things we came upon, but none so precious as the boy with the black eyes, dearie. All those marks and bones, carved so deep and polished so bright. I brought the old bones home, hid them from my dear husband. Then I learned to boil them and carve them myself. They made such good presents, dearie. The little mute boy took them home. He loved them so. All the time he came back with new bones for me, holding them up so I could see it in his eyes, even though his tongue was still. Granny, his elves would say to me, carve these bones for me, make me another present. And he went so far, all the way to Dunwall Tower, the royal headsman himself now. My little mute boy and his shiny, shiny sword. The royal headsman himself now? Better bones were what I needed, you see. Better bones to carve and polish. Scrape and gleam. My dear old husband was always tired. I made him soup and then he was sick. Better bones was all. From a little mute boy, carved in the name of the one with the black eyes. And after my husband was gone, given away as birthday gifts, I didn't want to live there anymore. So now I'm old and don't have many to give my presents to. It's sifting, kann ich nicht. It's sifting through the garbage for Granny Rex, and feeding the little birdies that gather at my feet. No one wants to have tea, dearie, especially those rude louts on Birtle Street. Slackjaw and his boys always meddling with an old woman just trying to make her way. In the end, we'll be together with him, you and me in the dreary night with stars above and below, and always the one with the black eyes, dearie. Um wen geht's jetzt gerade? Ich meine, der One with the Black Eyes ist wahrscheinlich der Outsider, I believe. Und ihr Junge, der stumme Junge, all the way to Dunwall Tower, the Royal Headsman himself. Wer ist der Royal Headsman? Ich habe jetzt gerade zwei im Kopf. Entweder der Typ, der gemalt wurde von Sokolov am Anfang, Campbell. Ich glaube, sein Name war Campbell. Oder Corvo. Ich weiß es nicht. Aber ich halt Corvo irgendwie für unwahrscheinlich. Also vielleicht Campbell oder irgendwer anderes, den wir nicht kennen. Mein Gott, ey. 118 Meter, da ist eine Rune, alles klar. Mein Gott, was ein Gelese, ey. Oh, okay. Voll sumpfig hier. Komm, raus! Raus! Gut. Oh, hat sich ja gelohnt. Na gut. Nur eine Bodenscham liegt. Da liegt sie ja. Entspann dich, Herz. Meine Güte. Alter, es geht ja voll steil, die Pumpe. Play your way, powers. The powers you obtain from runes can be used creatively to defeat enemies or move through the environment. Blink from roof to roof, possess rats and fish. Possess rats and fish? Oh. Or slow time. Ah, das ist mit Possessing gemeint. Ich dachte, ich kontrolliere die dann nur quasi, aber ich fahre wirklich in die. Oder? Or slow time before rushing a group of enemies. Habt ihr das gerade richtig verstanden? Diese Sounds manchmal. Alter, hab ich mich jetzt verjagt. Ich habe den Stein nicht gesehen. Geh da raus! Geh da raus, Alter! Ist das ein böser Fisch? Dark Vision. Also ich kann den Fisch sehen. Ist der, ist das ein ist das so ein Hackfisch, wie sie das sagten? Kann das sein? Ah! You look shit, bro. Ah! Alter! Kannst du mal irgendwo raus? Alter! Corvo, ich bitte dich! Hüpf da doch raus! Warte! Fuck den Hüpfen! Alter, die Fische zerlegen dich voll! Jesus! Das wollte ich gar nicht. Okay, das Teleporten ist geil. Ganz kurz, Powers. Vitality. Ich würde versuchen, weniger Combats zu machen, deswegen gehe ich mal nicht auf Vitality mit der einen, die ich jetzt habe, aber sonst kann ich mir, glaube ich, gar nichts leisten. Ne. Bone Charms. Okay, White Rat's Friend. White Rats won't attack you. Ich habe noch nie eine White Rat gesehen. Gutter Feast. White Rats can be consumed for ammo. Für Mano. Was? Okay. Mana, nicht Mano. Firewater. Shot whiskey bottles explode with greater intensity. Okay. Blast resistance. Damage from explosions reduces slightly. Fencer. Wins sword with sword contest more frequently. So wie so eine Lichtschwertparade, sowas in der Art? Good lungs. Breath capacity in water is increased slightly. Voyeur. Moderate keyhole peeping magnification. Delicate touch. Breaking glass sounds is more moderately reduced. River affinity. Swim speed increased slightly. Quick dodge. Enemies miss more often with arrows and bolts. Raven. Drop assassination gives you a bit of health. Quick dodge. Swim Speed. 2 von 7 kann ich schon, ach du Scheiße.